Hi guys, so today I thought I'd show you a little behind the scenes type video of what happens when I record a song, what goes into recording the song, and then the layers and so on that are going on underneath that you might not have noticed, let's say, when you listen to it. A lot of people, when they listen to music, they'll kind of focus in more on either something like the vocal, or in this case they might focus on the guitar, and then forget that actually there's lots of stuff going on underneath it, really. So this is a video just to show you a little bit what goes into making a song. So I hope you enjoy. Right, so what I've done here, I've put in a screen capture thing, which you're seeing now, so you can see on the screen what I'm seeing. So far, what we've got here, we've got the master track, then we've got our reverb track going on there. We've got a click track, which obviously the click is the thing that's keeping you in time, just so you know what the time is, the tempo of the song. Then we've got the drums. So this is, I quite enjoy sort of programming drums and stuff, but in this song I pretty much picked a sort of a regular kind of 4/4 simple kind of drum beat, and then just moved a few beats here and there to create this drum beat when we play it. So I'll play it now just so you can hear it. Very simple drum beat. Now let's go back to another screen. I'm just going to highlight this little section. So we've just got a little bit of a loop of it. And let's look back. Now we've got another drum beat thing going on here. We've got the electronic kind of thing going on. So let's just quickly take that out. So that's with everything going on. You can hear there's a bit of a reverb going on in the background. That's what's giving it that slight echo that wasn't there originally. Then we've got underneath, we've got this kind of like electronic kind of beat, which kind of gives it that extra 80s feel, so it doesn't sound too rock. That's the electronic beat going on there. Very simple, but it's quite effective when you put them together. It just gives it that sort of driving feel instead. Without it, sounds alright, but gives it that much kind of like more frantic sort of sound. Then we've got the next section. Let's click into the next section. So we've got the bass guitar. I'm just scrolling up the screen. So here is what we see. This is all MIDI programming, but this is what the drums are doing. So I can sort of go into that. It's like, let's play it through. You've got your hi-hats down there, and then you've got your bass and your kick drum and your snare drum there. So all very simple. Then we go down, we've got the electronic beat here, which we've heard. Then we've got the bass guitar comes in. Let's just give that a go. Here we go. So I kind of gave it a bit of a rock, edgy bass guitar sound. You know, that's on a loop there. So that's all that's going on there. Then what else came in? The synths come in with this kind of I've doubled, I mean sometimes sort of tripled up some of these synth sounds. So we've got like, basically what I would have done, I would have played the original chords just once and then duplicated that track and then changed the sound of the keyboard or changed the sound of the synth setting, whatever you want to call it. And then you end up getting much more of a sort of a big layered sound. So this is the original sound. Very simple sound. Now underneath that, I duplicated it to this, and I've changed the sound to this sound. Much more synthy and kind of 80s. Now let's go underneath that. Is there another one? There's one more there, in fact. This is in the wrong place, but this is again similar to the first one. But let's put them all together. It's a big round sound. So I quite like these kind of string-ish sort of pad sounds, and then you've got this sort of clinking sound over the top, which kind of gives you the definition when it's all mixed in together. So what I'm struggling with is I'm looking past the camera tripod at the same time, which you can't see luckily, but it's quite hard to see some of this screen. Anyway, let's go down the screen a bit more. So we've got a soft pad as well. This is again just very simplistic kind of chords just to fill out this kind of sound, to create a big sort of atmosphere of it. Just, you know, really simple. One chord just repeated. There we go. Ooh, I hit a wrong note there somewhere, but luckily nobody hears it in the original. Okay, let's go down the list. Then we've got, we're getting into the guitar section now. These I've kind of color coded them to try and make it easier to kind of find my way around. So before, okay, so this comes in, I think, with the bass guitar. So we've got this little down-tuned, I tuned down to A standard to just get this sort of big chunky sound. Originally this was going to be higher in the mix, but I ended up turning it down a bit because it did sound a bit like I was trying to do like a metal version, where I didn't necessarily want to sound too different from the original version. So here we go. Just turn it up a bit. So I mean, listening to it on its own, it sounds like I'm going into like serious metal territory. But then if I put in another one, oops, let's have a look. What else can I find here? So let's go for okay. So actually, that's really that is just playing along with the bass. If I go back up the screen and go back to the bass guitar, that's really just playing along with it. So it's just big chunky sound. Just the bass on its own. Got some little moving sounds there that I didn't take out. I'm not like when I do these songs. Okay, it does take quite a long time to do all these layers, but I don't go too kind of clinical and sort of take out every possible little tiny mistake. Sometimes I just leave them in. I just think, you know, that's the way it goes sometimes. There's plenty of records out there if you listen to, and there's lots of little mistakes, but who cares? Okay, so let's go down here. So the next bit we've got, I believe, is the arpeggiation keyboard in the verse, which is so much more simple than people might think, because all you do, you're just holding the chord down on your synth, and you can set the synth to arpeggiate in the manner that you want it to. Arpeggiation just means sort of playing each note of the chord separately, sort of like this. I'll show you how it goes. If I put just one track and just do this. Okay, that's the wrong track. I chose the wrong track to do. What are the odds? Okay, so sorry, there we go. So now I can see. So, sorry, this was the verse pads. So the verse pads is just playing the chords simply. I did a bit of a different chording version for that, but nobody noticed. Okay, here we go. This is the arpeggio bit. Now, I've then doubled it to give it again more of a sort of another one in there, all together, and then they stop as soon as the chorus starts, which is then in the chorus, which you might not notice much, is quite low in the mix. Is some clean guitar, as in, you know, like a clean sound on the amp. But it's detuned, so this is in the drop A again. With some ridiculous amounts of reverb on it. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll highlight that section, and I'll just put in one of the synths at the same time, just so you can hear how they sort of mix together. Let's take a different synth. Different synth again. Okay, so hopefully you're getting a sort of little insight into what's going on underneath that. Then we've got underneath, we've got the down tuned sort of chunky rock guitar again. I'll put that in there with a synth. I'll take the synth out again. So again, it's starting to sound a bit sort of too metal on its own. But if you put it in the mix, I'll turn it down a bit. Okay, so you can hear the massive amounts of reverb going on in some of these tracks, which when you press the stop button you suddenly realise, wow, maybe I've gone a bit far. I quite like it, but some people might not like that. Anyway, so let's go to the main melody, which is, you know, guess what? This is the main sort of track that is in the video, I guess. When you see most of the track is this track. So on its own, it's just like this. And then I doubled that up just to give it a bit more body, so it's the same track, just doubled. Okay, and then I added in some little harmony bits just to kind of just give it a bit more body. So let's go through with the harmonies on, and then I'll break them down. Coming in now. So let's go through them again. So I also doubled up the Take On Me lyric, which is going on here. On its own. So you've got the harmony bit and the Take On Me bits coming in. So I hope that all makes sense. Let's go back, see if we've missed anything. The solo section as well. There's a little solo section where I added this. So it's like an auto panning thing, which means panning is just basically hearing stuff on the left, on the right, or in the middle, or anywhere in between. And so to get that kind of that fiddly keyboard sort of solo in the original track, I thought, well, I'll do it on the guitar. Plus also I'd have to really learn how to do that on the keyboard, which, even though it's a chromatic run, for someone who's not a natural keyboard player, that's actually quite tricky for me in that key. So so I decided, well, I'll do it on the guitar and I'll sort of just tap it. So then the tapping effect with the sort of automated sort of going from left to right in the ears gives us sort of a similar type of effect of the original song. Let's hear it in context first. So it's very quiet here. That's going on. So that's what's going on underneath. Even down to the slightly dodgy note that I ended on. But again, most of that stuff you just don't really notice when it's all in sort of context. But just so you're seeing that there's plenty of little mistakes going on in my music, but nothing to worry about really. And I quite like it not to be absolutely kind of computerized, even, you know, because I'm working with click tracks and all the stuff to kind of keep you in time and all this sort of stuff. But you still want there to be an element of human error in there, otherwise it ends up sounding like just a computer game music. Right. Okay. So I think that's probably most of the gist of it. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you want to see more videos like this, please consider being a Patreon. One of my Patreons. That's the best way to say it. Or one of my patrons for my Patreon. I'm new to this. I can't remember. Either way, if you want to see more material, you get some extra tabs and some extra little things going on in between. Like you also get downloads of like MP3 downloads of every video I do. You get the backing tracks. So depending on what you sort of offer per month, you get a bit more, and you can cancel it at any time. So if you're sort of bored of this after a while, you can cancel it. It's fine. But obviously, any help would be appreciated, just because it sort of gives me more time to do these videos. Because obviously it takes a while to do these sorts of things. Anyway, thank you in advance, and please like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Cheers.